Hello, my name is E, and I am a member of Anonymous. 1 month has passed since I posted my expose on Chloe Maddren, and in that video, I presented evidence of Chloe committing an illegal act and scamming her followers. Since posting that video, I have not only received responses from the individuals who felt scammed, but I have also been in communication with Chloe herself. For over a month, I have continued looking into this story, reviewing new evidence, talking with everyone willing to talk, and with all the new information that has been presented, I've been able to come up with a final conclusion. So, if you haven't already seen my first video, I recommend watching that one first. I don't plan on making another video speaking about the situation because considering the new evidence and being able to piece together all the information I've been presented with, it is quite obvious who is lying and who is at fault. The first step into confronting Chloe about the accusations made against her was simple. As I mentioned in my original video, I have been studying Chloe's analytics for almost an entire month, and I knew that her engagement on her Instagram posts were extremely low compared to her actual follower list, so it wasn't going to take long for me to get a response. The only issue being is that based off the most common accusation I have received from Chloe from multiple resources is that the version of Chloe that she portrays herself on social media is fake. The people I've spoken with claim that when interacting with her through DMs, Chloe is rude, self-centered, and portrays herself as being better than the person she's interacting with, while also not being able to handle criticism well, and that her usual tactic when being confronted was to block the person after insulting them. I knew that if I wanted to get an honest response from her, as well as prove these claims to be true, I would need to approach this situation in a non-ethical and aggressive manner. Luckily for me, I wouldn't have to put too much effort with this plan because it only took 3 days to actually get into communication with Chloe. My first interaction with Chloe was through her comment section. I figured the best approach to get her attention and validate the narcissistic accusations was by taking a jab at her ego. I presented the fact that my video about her that was posted on the same day within hours of her video had received more views and likes than her video. Her response was exactly how I assumed it would go. She replies that she's sorry that she can't view the link to my video through her comment section, and so I immediately respond that avoiding the situation will not help her with dismissing the accusations, and Anonymous is always watching. Before deleting my comment, she avoids my statement by telling me to sign up to her Patreon for the fabulously long episode of a podcast about friendship. I didn't, and I still don't understand what the fuck Chloe's point was by promoting her podcast to me when it had nothing to do with the comments being made about her scamming her followers. But if she really wants me to sign up to her Patreon and make a 3-hour-long video where I summarize and critique each and every episode of the Friend Request podcast, I'm down. I'd be more than happy to point out every single flaw because, as I stated in my last video, I'd already watched every single episode of her podcast in preparation to make my video. I've made notes on each and every episode, and I am more than happy to offer some fabulously friendly advice on why starting each and every episode with a 31-second intro using a compilation of sound bites that includes snippets from Step Bros, Borat, The Simpsons, and other quirky sound bites about friends, while the first 10 seconds of Hall & Oates' You Make My Dreams plays on repeat is fucking stupid. Or that if you used just a portion of the $10,000 you scammed your followers into giving you and pay someone to professionally edit every episode of your podcast, you could actually have a show that is visually pleasing to watch, as opposed to the occasional Ken Burns zoom effect iMovie offers as a transition when you or one of your guests says something interesting. Maybe some royalty-free music that matches the vibes of your show to play in the background? I don't fucking know. This is just some fabulously friendly advice from one friend to another. And as your new best friend, might I advise maybe not using the word fabulously anymore. There are better words in English language that describes the meaning wonderfully or immensely in a less condescending way, you illiterate dumbass. But let's move on and get back to the whole reason this video is even being made, which is my conversation with Chloe. Shortly after the back and forth we exchanged to her comment section, Chloe finally responds to the message I sent her on Instagram. I start off the conversation by basically stating the exact same thing I stated in her comment section, which was my video was performing better than hers and that I was willing to give her the chance to defend herself. Her response was that she couldn't watch the entire video right now, which I understood because it's a 30-minute long video, but I also understood that her response was the deflection on answering the accusations being made about her. She also adds that she only watched the first couple of minutes, but would be able to offer a response based off that. And the response that she gave me was that she never advertised her OnlyFans as sexual content. In my opinion, I don't believe she even watched the first couple of minutes. I believe she clicked the link, saw the title, and gave a response off that. I responded to her message by telling her that if that was the story she wanted to stick with, that was fine, because the only thing I care about is the truth. And the truth was that I've listened to multiple people's stories about how they felt scammed. I also tell her that if she wanted to prove her innocence, there was a very simple solution to clear her name. Open her Instagram highlights, locate the post where she promoted her OnlyFans to her story, and show me exactly what she posted to prove she didn't scam anyone. To my surprise, instead of telling me to fuck off, she actually sent me pictures on not just her stories with dates, but she also sent me screenshots where she sent the link to her followers that sexually harassed her. She continues defending herself from the accusations by showing me her story archives, where she has always stated her OnlyFans was a way to promote her comedy special, Hot Girl Stuff. She shows me photos from her Instagram feed that she has been advertising her comedy special all over Instagram, and she ends this attempt to defend her actions by saying that she doesn't feel it needs to be said, but she is a comedian and podcaster who only puts out content for her comedy and podcasts. So by using a subscription platform, it should be obvious that her content on OnlyFans would only be for promoting her comedy special and podcast. I review each photo and I immediately find multiple flaws in not just the pictures she sent me, but also multiple flaws in her response. So before ending the conversation, I switch up my tone from aggressive to friendly, in case I had further questions for her. I thank her for telling me her side of the story. I tell her I will continue looking into the situation before I make a public statement with my final conclusion, and I fully admit to her that I don't completely believe her story. She says okay, and I begin my second investigation with the new information I've been given. So, let's take a look at the inconsistencies and the evidence Chloe herself has provided me with. The first inconsistency I noticed immediately in Chloe's story are the date and events when everything took place. Chloe, in her September 3rd video, claiming she immediately made an Instagram post for her story stating the content she was producing and promoting on OnlyFans was her comedy special, Hot Girl Stuff, and she had never advertised it as sexual content.
I also posted the link to my Instagram story, but I immediately revealed that it was just my comedy show, I didn't want to gotcha anyone.
This statement made by Chloe is a lie, and she did not immediately make a post on her Instagram story stating what people were actually buying was access to view her comedy special, Hot Girl Stuff. In this archive, we see the posts Chloe made on her Instagram story were made on August 25th at 2:13 and 2:14. But if we look at the date on her OnlyFans post about her special, the dates read July 25th. Which means for an entire month before she ever made the post to her Instagram story that what she was actually selling was her comedy special, anytime Chloe received sexual harassment from one of her followers, she would respond by sending them a link to her OnlyFans, misleading them into thinking what they were purchasing was sexual content. This not only confirms the theory I made in my original video where I stated she waited an entire month to post to her Instagram story that what her followers were actually buying was access to watch her comedy show. In my opinion, I believe she definitely waited a couple weeks to make that post before revealing to her followers on Instagram that it was just her comedy show so she could receive as much money as possible with this little prank. But it also provides photo evidence sent by Chloe herself that she did in fact wait an entire month and possibly longer before confessing on her Instagram story that what her followers were actually paying for on her OnlyFans was her comedy special. Another flaw in Chloe's story is that when sending me any proof of the interactions where she sent her OnlyFans link to her followers that sexually harassed her, she provides no evidence of a date where she sent them her OnlyFans link after she made a statement admitting what she was actually selling, which clarifies two things. Number one, any positive response she received about her OnlyFans only comes after the fact that she had already admitted to her followers that what they were purchasing was access to view her comedy show. And number two, Chloe was scamming her followers by sending them the link to her OnlyFans and advertising it as if what they were purchasing was sexual content for an entire month, if not longer. We can even see in these DMs where she sent her followers the link to her OnlyFans with no context after they sexually harassed her. The dates of them replying to her Instagram stories are on May 9th, May 13th, and June 13th. Which was way before the August 25th Instagram post telling people what they were actually purchasing. To further prove my point, I took the photo from the one DM that only says Saturday and doesn't have an actual date attached to it, and I was able to use a little bit of coding magic to track down the original date Chloe posted this photo to her Instagram story, which was July 19th, 2024, confirming once again she sent all those people the link to her OnlyFans before August 25th. The only flaw with this accusation is Chloe could very easily argue that she sent this specific follower her OnlyFans link after the August 25th post, because the screenshots she sent me of her DMs where she sent the link to her followers that sexually harassed her, there are no dates of when she actually sent them the links, only the timestamps. Without an actual date above her Instagram name of when she sent them the link, the accusation that she sent her OnlyFans link before the August 25th Instagram story loses its credibility, and there's no way of telling when she actually sent her followers her OnlyFans link. But I'm no fucking amateur, and I already took that factor into consideration. You see, the problem with that counter-argument is that out of the 5 DMs she sent me, 3 of them are used as examples in her September 3rd video where she admits to scamming her followers, and she admits she sent them the links as a way to get payback. Which means, boys and girls, her intentions when sending each of these people her OnlyFans link was to mislead them for objectifying her. That also means, in order for her followers to fall for her trick, she had to send them the link way before she ever made her August 25th Instagram post. Taking all of that into consideration and combining that with the facts of how, in order for her to make $10,000 only 1,000 of her followers would have had to sign up to her OnlyFans, as well as the video evidence on the September 3rd of Khloe herself stating that she made $10,000 from OnlyFans, that would mean she had to have personally sent a link to anywhere between a couple of thousand people over the span of 1 month, since her first OnlyFans post was on July 25th. Her Instagram story admitting what her followers were actually purchasing on OnlyFans was access to view her comedy special on August 25th, and her confirmation video stating she made $10,000 was on September 3rd. I can understand that all might sound confusing as I just shoved a ton of numbers and dates in your face all at once, but the math and the dates don't lie, and the timeline of events in Khloe's story where she claims she never misled anybody by committing an illegal act do not match up. The third flaw in Khloe's story I feel is worth mentioning are these screenshots of her Instagram bio and Instagram posts where she's promoting where you could view her comedy special. In every one of these posts on Instagram that Khloe has circled herself, there is no mention of her OnlyFans account being used as a way for her followers to purchase access to watch hot girl stuff. In fact, every single post she has ever made where she's promoting her comedy special, including her broadcast channel that she has listed in her Instagram bio titled Watch My Stand Up, the only places she advertises is on Patreon and YouTube for $5. There is no mention on her Instagram feed of her promoting her comedy show on OnlyFans for $10, except for her September 3rd post admitting she made $10,000 after sending the link to all her followers that sexually harassed her as a way to get payback. That is the first and last time she has mentioned that her show Hot Girl Stuff is available to be viewed on OnlyFans. The last and final flaw in Khloe's story is her final statement to clear her name, which I'm going to read in its entirety. I feel like it doesn't need to be said, but I am a comedian and podcaster, clearly only putting out comedy and podcast content. If that helps clarify the context, then obviously I would use a subscription platform for an extension of said content. First of all, Khloe has not only admitted in this video where she is confronting a heckler that she did in fact have an OnlyFans account where she sent her followers sexual content. A simple Google search of Khloe's full name followed by the word OnlyFans proves that at one point Khloe was posting at the very least not safe for work content for her followers to purchase and choke their chicken to. In fact, here are 2 posts Khloe herself made on Twitter, which, ironically, were posted on September 2nd, 2020, where she posted her OnlyFans link to her feed. And here are some examples of the content Khloe was posting on her OnlyFans. Blurred, of course. Second of all, Khloe's argument to defend herself by saying her actions of misleading people and committing an illegal act are justified because she's a comedian and podcaster who only posts about her comedy and podcast is such a failed attempt to save her own ass. Seriously, I am genuinely curious to understand your logic and how your career choices justify the fact that you committed an illegal act by scamming your followers, because this argument to defend your actions is not only completely invalid, but is by far the stupidest counter argument I have ever heard in my life. And that's if you, Khloe Maddren, really believe in your mind that just because you advertise your comedy and podcast on your social media, your followers are the ones at fault for misinterpreting your advertisement of content on a website that is pretty much known for pornographic content. And that's including the fact that at one point in your career, you were engaging and selling at the bare minimum not safe for work content on your OnlyFans for your followers. Does this make any sense to you? Or do you want to just keep playing stupid? Because I don't know how much clearer I can be. Would you like me to paint you a fucking picture because the words I'm using are too hard for you to understand? Or would you rather just admit you committed fraud by illegally advertising a product by deceiving the people who support you for your own selfishness to finance your travel expenses so you can go on tour around the world? If you want my fabulously friendly advice, these are both rhetorical questions, and if you have nothing smart to say, it's best to just shut the fuck up. Also, fun fact, Chloe doesn't just post on her Instagram about her comedy special and podcasts, as she's claiming that's all she posts in this argument. How do I know this? Because here are several examples where Chloe has posted a variety of content to her Instagram story that have nothing to do with her comedy or podcast.
I went to my first influencer event tonight and got to the entry where the security guard was like, "This is a private event." I just found a $3,500 purse.
We're your dream worms, boy. Hold me in your hand. You want a puppy? When you're walking outside, even though you were just outside.
Scary pumpkin. Sometimes when my uterus is acting up.
What about me makes you think that? I just realized my shirt was on backwards all night. Amazing, wow, paparazzi. They are making a Sims movie. Like a live action Sims movie. Hi. Hi. Are you petting me? And I thought that I would try and put like some makeup on to get a cute passport photo, because like no one gets a cute passport photo, and I was like, I'm gonna do it. This is the shit I can get behind.
I got recognized from my Instagram the other day. It was awesome. Walking down the street, Chloe, and I was like, hey! And she's like, no, you don't know me. And I was like, oh. It's great.
Now, I feel it is important we take a quick look at some of the messages I received from Chloe's followers telling me their side of the story of the interactions they had with Chloe, as well as photo evidence of the conversations where Chloe lies about content she is producing on OnlyFans. The first message reads, "Hey, I watched your video, and I just want to reach out and let you know she scammed me. I asked her if she was selling nudes on OnlyFans, and she was like, I am. And then she sent me the link. She ended up blocking me after I called her out for lying and asking for a refund, but before she blocked me, she was reacting to all my messages, calling her out with a laughing emoji as if she thought it was funny. Here are the screenshots of that conversation." Reading that message and seeing the screenshots is very interesting because Chloe flat out told me herself in our conversation that she never misled her followers or advertised that she was selling pornographic content, and yet these screenshots of an interaction Chloe had with one of her followers tells a completely different story. Chloe not only told her follower that yes, she was selling nudes, but she also responds by sending him her OnlyFans link. Then, when he confronts her about her lie, she begins reacting to his message with laughing emojis because in her mind, she believes that what she just did was a joke. I read this conversation only a couple of days after I spoke to Chloe, and if I'm being completely honest, this conversation specifically was the main reason I decided to make a part 2 exposing Chloe, because as I stated multiple times in my last video, I didn't believe Chloe was a bad person. I really thought this whole situation was just a simple mistake she made, not fully understanding the repercussions that would come from it. But then seeing photographic evidence of her straight out lying and laughing at one of her followers made me absolutely fucking sick. This is not normal behavior. I don't give a fuck who you are. But when you are caught lying on several occasions and then laughing and making jokes about it, those are signs of a true sociopath who feels no empathy or remorse towards other people's feelings but their own. Our second message reads, and I'm going to summarize most of this one because there are certain words in this that I don't feel comfortable repeating. Chloe scanned me, and when I told her I wanted my money back, she told me that's what I get for sending sexual messages to strangers on the internet. I told her to go fuck herself, and that if she wasn't going to give me my money back, I was going to do everything I could to get my money back, which thankfully I was able to get a refund after speaking with my bank on the phone. I hope people learn the truth about what Chloe has done, because it's not right for her to take people's money. Thank you for exposing the truth. These screenshots of a conversation Chloe had with her follower once again prove she was lying to me about never advertising her OnlyFans as sexual content, and it also shows Chloe defending herself by saying the reason she scammed this person is because they sent her sexual messages. What I find most interesting about this interaction specifically, other than the fact this individual has a talent for saying more profanity in one paragraph than the entire first 10 minutes of Pulp Fiction, is that we get a first-person point of view of the real Chloe Maddren when she's met with criticism. As I stated during my conversation with Chloe, even though I was the one who started off being aggressive, she was still very friendly to me when she could have very easily just told me to go fuck myself before blocking me. She wasn't being forced to have a conversation with me. She was cooperative when asked specific questions, and she was willing to engage in a conversation even if everything she said to me was a lie. If we look at these messages though, we see a completely different side of Chloe, the real Chloe Maddren. Not the version she portrays herself as the bubbly fun personality type that she shares on the internet, but the real version of her, which is nothing more than an insecure liar who thinks they're better than everyone else and can get away with treating people poorly all because she has a large following. The last message we will be taking a look at will further conclude the fact that Chloe Maddren not only is incapable of feeling empathy, but also further proves the pattern in which Chloe reacts when negatively interacting with her followers through privated messages. The person tells us of an interaction where they straight up asked Chloe if she was producing sexual content on her OnlyFans because they had been scammed in the past and just wanted clarification on what they were purchasing. Chloe avoids telling the person the truth until eventually lying to them and telling them that what she was selling was sexual content. The person believes her, subscribes, and when he sees that he had been lied to and scammed, Chloe once again continues to antagonize her follower by reacting to his messages before blocking him. At this point, I don't even know what to say. How do you, Chloe Maddren, explain to me that you told me straight up that you never advertised your OnlyFans as sexual content, yet this message sent by someone who used to follow you before you blocked them tells a completely different story? Would you like me to read it verbatim? You have nothing to worry about, babe. I'm selling nudes on my OnlyFans, and I would never scam anyone. Explain it, because this was clearly written from your account. There are no other accounts on Instagram with your profile photo or your username on the top of the messages. So, the argument that this is a fake is completely invalid, and I'm almost positive that no one else has access to your Instagram account. So, explain to me this message. You can't? Why not? Well, that's because you're a fucking liar. And the worst part is, you not only lied to your followers that have supported you and your entire career, but you also lied to the one person that was willing to hear your side of the story, who wasn't going to judge you if you told the truth, and was willing to help you no matter what. But you chose to lie, and that's something I cannot forgive. It is very clear who is in the wrong. I have presented irrefutable evidence to you all, and while you might think this specific topic may or may not be important, I understand your points. But the only thing I care about, as I've stated countless times, is the truth. And the truth in this situation are the facts. That the only person who is in the wrong in this situation, and the only person who has benefited in this situation, is Chloe. Chloe has not only lied to her followers, but she has also stolen money from their pockets. And the motive behind her actions was not selfless. It was a quick way for her to manipulate the people that comment on her appearance and advance in her career. Chloe created a plan to scam them, made a shit ton of money, and to make matters worse, she then made an entire video about how she committed fraud because people were not nice to her, which gained a lot of attention online and helped boost her relevance. And even after all that, where she made all this money and gained all this sympathy, to this day, she has continued playing victim, even though she is lying to every single person that supports her. So, while you might think this is not an important issue, to me, it is. Because when we allow people who have committed illegal acts and continuously lie about them, those people begin to believe they are above the law, and that because they got away with this one specific thing, they can continue to take advantage and create a narrative that best fits their story, leaving the only people negatively affected by the situation are the people that have been cheated and lied to. Before we end the video, I want to make one last final statement and address Chloe personally. Hello again, Chloe. I bet you're not too happy with what I've had to say about you. Well, I'm sorry you feel that way, but what you seem to not understand is criticism is not a crime. I've done nothing wrong besides told the truth, which is something I believe you are incapable of doing. I have not made any remarks in regards to your appearance in this video or my last video, because I know your number one insecurity and weapon of choice when facing any form of criticism is to immediately paint yourself as the victim because someone calls you fat or ugly. But unfortunately for you, my weapon of choice when criticizing people holds a lot more power, and I don't attack by going after their appearance, only their lack of intelligence, by pointing out their stupidity, which again is not a crime. You lied to me. All I asked from you was to be honest and tell me your side of the story. If you had told me the truth, when I already knew you lied and scammed your followers, I would have helped you in every way possible to clear your name by doing the right thing, which was making a statement on your social media, telling your followers the truth, and offering them either a refund or an option that didn't make them feel cheated, which would have been beneficial to both parties. But you couldn't be honest or speak the truth, and that was your biggest mistake. In my last video, I made it very clear that if you continue down this path, you would become my enemy, which now seems like you have made your choice by lying to not just me, but all your followers. I will give you 1 month to make a video admitting that what you did was wrong to all your followers and subscribers. Offer a sincere apology for lying to them. Promise them you will never do anything like this again. And delete the video where you admitted you scammed them out of $10,000. Refuse, and I will have no choice but to release every single DM I have received from your followers that proves you not only sent them your OnlyFans link, but that you misled them by advertising it as sexual content, as I've already shown in this video. And trust me, Chloe, there are a lot more DMs and screenshots I received from your followers. I will not only make an entire video dedicated to those messages, going through every single one in its entirety, but I will also send all the links of the videos I've made about you, and I will send them to every single comedy club you've performed at, as well as the sponsors you have received for your podcast, which will definitely hurt your career. I hope you make the right choice this time, because I'm not fucking around with you anymore, and this is not a threat. That's not how Anonymous works, and we do not fight using violence because that's illegal. But what I will do is make sure everyone knows the truth, and that's a promise, because unlike you, I don't lie to people, and I keep my promises.